All right. Peace and blessings. I give thanks and praise to the ancestors, the shoulders of those in whom I stand upon, and those spirits of long ago. I give thanks and praise to Olodumare. I give thanks and praise to Eshu. I give thanks and praise to Ogun. I give thanks and praise to all the Orishas. Welcome to the science of the Orishas. The science of the Orisha series will explore how the Yoruba deities operate in the world as forces of nature. This series will also cover their function not only as spiritual beings, but also as factors that shape our environment, as well as our psychological makeup. And more importantly, we will examine how the Orishas are here to guide us as we strive to fulfill our destiny, as well as understanding our place in the universe, and not to mention how the universe itself operates. So I'd like to greet my sisters and brothers with Alafia. I also would like to pay homage and respect to my not just ancestors, but my elders and my teachers and my guides, and those who are not only here, but those who are on the other side as well. So, Goon, without further ado, we're going to talk about the importance of this Orisha. And, a lot of people sleep on Ogun. They see Ogun as a brute, you know, Ogun as a warmonger. But there's so much more to Ogun than just that. Ogun deals with medicine, Ogun deals with healing. Ogun deals with technological advancing. You see what I mean? His numbers are 3 and 7. His color is red. But amongst those in diaspora, like especially those who practice the Lukumi tradition, his colors can be black and green. And for those who practice in the Benin tradition, his colors are also red. There's a Vodun counterpart of Ogun in the form of Ogu, whose colors actually, like his brother Shango, red and white. So Ogun is the enforcer of justice, as well as the Orisha of iron. And iron is said to be the sixth most abundant element in the universe. The universe breaks down to mean one song, one phrase, one turn, aka the unified field in constant rotation. That is our universe. The core of our planet is mainly iron, and iron is important in keeping our physical bodies functioning. Iron is essential for blood reproduction and production. It helps make up your red blood cells in the form of hemoglobin. The red blood cells are made up of iron, and it helps to carry the oxygen throughout the body so that we have the energy to function. This is how important Ogun is as an operating spiritual being, but also a force of nature and a principle operating within our lives, within our bodies, and all around us. So you need Ogun. You need Ogun because without this oxygen to be distributed around your body, you will not have the energy to function in life. Ogun actually forms our bones. Okay, so in the stories it says that Ogun helps to create the bones. So Obatala may have put the flesh on us with clay and everything else. They say Obatala helps to form the baby in the womb, but Ogun is responsible for forging the bones. Now, Ogun sounds kind of like Egun, right? Egun is the word used for the ancestors, and the literal translation of Egun is bone. So it's important, by the way, for melanated people, especially if you live in areas like where I live in the Pacific Northwest, to keep getting a healthy supply of vitamin D, you need to get some sunshine. If you don't get enough sunshine, then you might have to take some vitamin D pills, with a good like maybe 3,000 EU and so forth. Okay, so make sure that you're getting your vitamin D and make sure that you got strong bones. If you have unhealthy bones, that is evidence that you're disconnected from the ancestors. But anyway, I digress. Back to Ogun. Now, Ogun, if you want to know the mysteries of physics, Ogun is the one to connect with, right? Ogun is said to have forged the very chain in which Obatala came to Earth on. And by the way, many will say that that chain represents DNA. Now, physics is applied mathematics. Ogun is the blacksmith and the master of metallurgy. Ogun is also the inventor. He brought our computer to us. He's the one that invented or brings this technology that operates off of binary coded systems, similar to our divination systems in the Ifa tradition. So he is the blacksmith. He is the master of technology. He is also the master of metallurgy. And as the Orisha of war, he brings forth change. He brings forth changes in technology. He is a forger of weapons. So it is Ogun who was the first among the mortals, indicating that he is also a primordial ancestor. Now, Eshu may open the way for communication, but it is Ogun who tears down obstacles and clears the path. He is the builder of civilization as well as the spirit of technology. We cannot stress this enough. Okay? Without Ogun, there is no progress. Ogun rules the heart. The heart is always working, always pumping blood, never resting. Ogun's closeness to Obatala, who is the king of the white cloth and the eldest of the Orisha, is also represented by the communication between the heart, Ogun, and the brain, Obatala. Also, the brain and the heart both emit energy waves. The heart waves actually travel further than brain waves. And they have been able to detect this field generated by the heart up to 3 feet from the human body. In fact, the heart's electrical field is 60 times greater than the electricity generated in the brain. And this has been researched by the Heart Math Institute, in which you can actually go and check out online. Hence, Ogun clearing the path, even for Batala. So the spirit of Ogun is definitely ingenuity, movement, progress, kinetic energy at best. And Ogun is the force of divine justice. So whenever a rule is broken, whenever some law has been violated, Ogun is on task. And it's he who tears down the barriers of falsehood and puts us all under oath, demanding us to speak and live in truth. Now, in the legal system of the Yoruba tradition, when anyone goes under oath, they have to swear on a piece of iron. Kind of like over here, when they make you swear on the Bible. Or over there, you swear on a piece of iron. Okay? Now, that piece of iron represents Ogun. And you'd better tell the truth. Because you don't want to piss Ogun off. You don't want that brother coming after you. Because believe me, when he comes after you, he is coming to enforce justice. But he's also coming to help you shape your character. Right? So many of today's modern superheroes and legends are based off of the characterization, or at least the archetype of Ogun. Now, some may say that this universal archetype of Ogun manifests in different ways. We look at DC Comics, you're looking at like Steel, right? He's like the counterpart of Superman. I don't know. He's like the black Superman. Only difference is, though, he needed to wear iron armor, right? So he kind of would mimic the powers of Superman with his iron armor, right? And by the way, his name is John Henry. The character's name is John Henry before he puts on his armor. So you might could say John Henry is to Steel what Clark Kent is to Superman. But then again, you also got the legend of John Henry, who worked on the railroad, right? And that is a trait of Ogun. The railroad is sacred to Ogun. So we have actually kept with our stories, just told in different forms and fashions, right? Not to mention you got Marvel's Iron Man. Now, Ogun's comedic counterpart is Harakuti. Haru means one who is above. That's the first part of the name. And Kuti means the double horizon. So this is an indication of the will and the ability to transcend duality. One of the reasons why we are continuing to live and exist here is because we're exploring duality, how to work the union of opposites, things that appear to be a plurality, right? All connected at the top. Even that which appears to be in opposition is connected at the top. All right. So the highest aspect of being, it goes beyond duality. So Haru Koti represents Haru, who rises above duality. Why is this important? Why do we want to transcend duality? Look at the word trans and end, ending the trance of duality. Well, that's because a lot of us see things getting caught up in an illusion of duality. We think, okay, well, if I have to stand over here, they got to stand over there, right? That's part of the illusion. The thing about it, though, is that each and every one of us are vehicles of the divine being, you see. So you cannot do something to someone else without affecting yourself. As a species, we are always working to move forward or advance in some way or another. And we have to learn that knowledge should never be the main thing without wisdom. Our civilization shows evidence of a misuse of knowledge. We have polluted the waters, okay? So we have a big old continent of trash in the middle of the ocean. But it even gets more bizarre. Now there's garbage in outer space. Okay? In fact, garbage has even found its way to the planet Mars. Okay? So we done brought garbage to Mars. So if humanity wants to journey into the stars and visit other planets, we had better learn to take care of this one. Now keep in mind, Ogun helps tear down the illusions, keeping us bound in this matrix, this realm of duality. And it is he that works within us that keeps us going, even when we're tired. And he is the motivation that we need to overcome the toughest challenges. The part of us that takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Ogun is also an Orisha of fire, like his brother Shango. Ogun not only teaches us the mysteries of the blacksmith but technology, but it is up to us to be responsible for how we use the gifts that Ogun shares with us. Ogun also rules over character-shaping institutions and secret societies, especially those secret societies that take young men through the rite of passage. In many cases, the military, which is obviously Ogun, provides that rite of passage. Ogun clears the path for humanity by removing all the obstacles symbolized in the forms of trees and bushes. It is Ogun that removes the shrubs in our path with his machete. He has said that in the beginning, Obatala attempted to clear the path with his silver cutlass, but the silver cutlass simply wasn't cutting it. However, Obatala was not able to get past the more dense of the shrubs. Ogun stepped in to take over with his machete. And Ogun was the one that cleared the path and was able to remove the shrubs. Now, people who are children of Yemoja, right, they benefit quite well from the presence of Ogun because Ogun protects his mother. So, if you're having issues, right, as a child of Yemoja, go to Ogun. Let Ogun take care of it. Ogun is on the job, and Ogun will not disappoint. Yemoja, by the way, is the Orisha of the surface of the ocean. Now, we had done a video about Yemoja along with Olokun. So, to know more about her, go ahead and check that video out. I'm actually going to do another video on Yemoja pretty soon, breaking down more specifics. But Obatala represents peace, and Ogun represents warfare, right? So Ogun is Obatala's enforcer. Ogun is an overachiever and he loves to work. Work is like therapy to Ogun. So children to Ogun love to work, right? They just don't feel right if they're not doing some kind of work because that's what they're here to do. Do the work. I didn't say slave. I said do the work because Ogun keeps the world running. So Ogun is an overachiever, okay? He keeps everything moving, causing constant change. Ogun is our vitality. When Oya, who used to be with Ogun, left Ogun, she made off with all of his bronze tools, so he had to replace those with iron tools that were also good for farming. When Ogun is with Oya, changes in industry as well as warfare takes place. Remember in the story, Oya eventually leaves Ogun for Shango, right? Not to be taken personally, these just represent changes and shifts of energy. So Ogun is necessary for the creation and the preservation of infrastructure, right? But just like Oya, Ogun has to tear things down so that things can be rebuilt. If there's an old dilapidated building, Ogun will come forth and smash that building to pieces so that a new building can be put in its place. You see? Ogun is necessary for creation and preservation of an infrastructure, which is necessary for any functioning economy. Any economy without an infrastructure is bound to collapse. So when it comes to maintaining an infrastructure, communication, transportation, import, and export are all necessary, as well as the conservation and the utilization of energy, such as electricity and gas. So in order for any civilization, state, or country to function, there must be a functioning infrastructure in which wealth is produced and trade can be established. Also, protecting such an economy or the economy is the military. The military not only protects the economic system of a nation, a country, etc., but also they go to war and even invade other countries in an attempt to seize their resources. Now, it's not only humans that have armies that go to war. You can look and see this in the tiny ant. Ants have armies, they have militaries, they go to war with other ants and expand their territory and so forth. You know, they're an organism. They're all tiny organisms, but they operate as a single organism. And humanity, in so many ways, whether we know it or not, we kind of do the same thing. So it said that it was through the use of tools in which humanity evolved from primates of a primitive stature into finally Cro-Magnon, in which we are descendants of. Now, whether or not you believe in evolution and so forth, you know, that's not my concern, right? You may or you may not. I'm not telling you what to believe, right? But this is what science is saying, you know, that things evolve, things change, things transform. And there's nothing like understanding the concept of transformation. Everything transforms and goes through a process of change in this physical world. Things are always changing, shifting, getting better or getting worse. That's how things work. So as technology advances, we continue to evolve. We also continue to evolve spiritually, right? So we evolve in different ways. However, we must be in balance. The danger comes in where we depend on technology to the point that it works on its own and we become lazy and we become imbalanced. It is necessary, therefore, for us to utilize technology wisely. Not only do we not want to become lazy, we don't want to blow ourselves up, okay? So even though it was Ogun that gave us the gift of technology, it is our responsibility, right, to handle what we're working with. And from time to time, Oshun must come and bring sweetness to the lips of Ogun and motivate him to continue to build civilization in a healthy way and not a destructive way, or to keep him from leaving civilization altogether, letting it crumble into nothingness. So there's a difference when it comes to what a warrior is. Ogun is the warrior, right? But Ogun is also in charge of the soldier. But there's a difference between a soldier and a warrior. Soldiers usually deal with rank, right? They serve in the military. But a warrior is a person who is set up on their own journey. Now, every soldier could be a warrior, but every warrior is not necessarily a soldier. Okay, soldiers are distributed. Being a warrior, though, is an inside job. It's you developing that inner determination, saying, I'm going to get my ass up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to this job because I want to make sure that not only am I maintained, but my family is maintained. Okay. So when it comes to being an official, you can live a soldier lifestyle, though. Soldiers are usually neat, clean, alert, and prepared, right? Ogun can be either. He can be like the soldier that is always neat, clean, uniform always pressed, boots always shine. Or he can be the grimiest of warriors, working on his tools. See what I mean? But whatever Ogun is representing, you can best believe it's because he's working, he's getting the job done. Ogun reminds us to always be prepared and always have our stuff together and to be dressed and equipped for the terrains of life. And it is that drive within us that helps us continue to build. Ogun also deals with justice, making sure that everybody have their equal portion that is deserved. It is he that took the position to split the fish for two people that have equal rights and an equal share. However, Ogun is also the one who may push us against our will to move forward with circumstances that are urgent. Our fighting skills and abilities, our combat, right? All that, the military, all these things are from the expertise that come under the auspices of Ogun, as well as an economy, as well as societies like Freemasonry. Even though it has been demonized, it is actually a system of initiation. And initiation means to begin, but systems of initiation takes people through a process like an apprenticeship, where you develop certain aspects of what you know about the craft or how you develop yourself. So Ogun is more than just a butcher and an executioner, all right? But there's the other side of Ogun that is grimy. Ogun decapitates those who lie. He removes the heads. He removes the head of the liar. There was a story about how Ogun had stolen the head of, I believe it was the head of the ram, right? He had actually decapitated a ram, and they thought it was Shango because the ram is sacred to, Shango. But they had captured Shango, they put him on trial, and they were going to have him executed. And Ogun was supposed to be the person that was going to chop off the head of Shango, right? Well, the person who declared Shango's execution, Ogun, turned around and chopped his head off instead. And people were in horror. They're like, why did you chop off his head? Ogun was like, that's because Shango is not only my brother, but he's an innocent man. He didn't take the head of the ram. I took the head of the ram. Therefore, you're about to put an innocent man to death, and I cannot allow this. So, this how strong. Even though Ogun may have stolen the head of the ram, he was not going to allow himself to be used to execute an innocent man. You see, Ogun is a force of nature, right? You have to know what you're talking about when you're dealing with Ogun, because he cuts to the point. He's not going to allow anybody to bear false witness against another person and get them in trouble. That's how Ogun operates. So, let's say you're a warrior and you're working out. Ogun loves it when we exercise. Ogun loves it when we keep our bodies fit. When you have a strong body, you got a strong mind. So you can put yourself in a situation where there's trials and tribulation, which makes you tough. This is what Ogun likes. Ogun has that warrior sense. Ogun wants to develop that warrior sense within us. That's right, Kida. Peace and chaos. Understanding that which appears to be the chaotic, right, may be the origin of things in this physical plane, and then it's brought into form. It's a order out of chaos. See, energy that had no form being brought forth and being brought into order. And at the same time, where there appears to be disorder, how do you maintain your peace in what appears to be disorder? Let's say you look at everything from a helicopter. Everything around you, it looks like chaos. You see cars moving, you see people walking everywhere down the street, people are shooting dice, somebody else is blasting the radio. That's chaos. But within it, there's order. There's arrangements. You see. So within that chaos, Ogun even brings structure within the chaos. And that's what we're supposed to do. See, part of being a warrior is when you understand that there's chaos going on around you, and yet you still remain focused and you still push forward because you understand that order and chaos are just two principles taking place in a functioning universe. Okay? Hope. So, Ogun also reminds us, speaking of chaos, the shift of industry from a culture of hunters and gatherers to an agricultural society. A lot of times when you go through a shift, that shift appears to be chaotic. Let's say you're going to clean your house or you're going to move. The transition may be chaotic, but when you reach your destination, you find a sense of satisfaction that you're able to get the job done. Ogun is a forger of metals. A sword starts out as a formless piece of metal until it's beaten, put to the fire, cooled off, sharpened, polished. Then you got a sword. Sacred to Ogun. You see. Karmic Dynasty. Sounds like retrograde. Yes, it does. Oh man, where's my bus pass? Next thing you know, you find it later. Things seem like they're not working. Need them to work, they'll work. They may not need to work at the time. In the grand scheme of things. Just saying. Ogun being a forger of metals is considered a powerful magic in some African traditions. Being able to forge metals is considered the mysteries that lead into alchemy, right? When you work with metals in alchemy, that's supposed to be the most powerful form of alchemy, to transform base metals into a higher quality, such as gold. Iron is the necessary supplement, right? Not only is it an element, but it's also a supplement. Iron helps your body to grow and develop. You need iron in order to manufacture hemoglobin, which we talked about earlier. Iron is necessary for the body to have energy. And iron also, is good for the development and the function of the brain, since hemoglobin also brings oxygen, not only to the brain, but throughout the body. Once again, you see that connection with Obatalan Ogun. So Ogun is definitely a one-man army, unstoppable in battle, and his worshippers praise him as one who has never been defeated in battle. So one of his battle cries, everybody say, Ogun, yeah! And everybody else says, yeah! Ogun, yeah! Everybody says, yeah! Ogun, yeah! Yeah! He's the most popular among all the Orisha, who actually cleared the path for the Orishas to come from heaven to earth. And Ogun rules the heart and is also said to have built the human skeleton. Let's keep that in mind. We can see the shaping powers of Ogun and how the presence of Ogun not only affects the world, but also makes up the world. The children of Ogun are said to be quick-tempered, but always ready to do the work. Some believe that they're unforgiving, yet they're highly intelligent. So there's the aspect of Ogun, that's the warrior. There's the aspect of Ogun, that's the soldier, right? The barbarian, all the way down to the computer geek. Yep, believe it or not, that's Ogun too. He takes all those forms. So he's the enforcer of divine law and quick to do justice to anyone who dares to lie under oath. So in the Orisha tradition, in the diaspora, one receives a three-legged iron quadrant, right? And in this iron quadrant, you receive both Ogun and his brother Ochosi. Ochosi is the divine hunter or the divine tracker. And these two brothers, they go out and hunt together. Now, Ochosi helps Ogun find where to track the prey. So Ogun is also a team player, especially when it comes to his beloved brother. And when Ogun is in the forest, Ogun is a powerful medicine man. He is the healer, reminding warriors that it is important to learn how to heal ourselves as we go through the battles of life. And in order to be a survivor, where we know about the herbs and the plants in the forests, how to clean our wounds, and at the same time, how to remove poisons, and even develop charms to ward off danger. All these are part of the mysteries of Ogun. So Ogun wants to keep us healthy so that your heart continue beating. A healthy human heart beats about 100,000 times a day, pumping 2,000 gallons of blood per day. The organ is to be honored because it is an organ that works around the clock without your conscious effort. Just like when your heart is beating automatically and you're breathing automatically while you sleep. That's your spirit at work. So according to the Heart Math Institute, the heart is the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the body. So much of our technology and products are petroleum-based, carbon, natural gas, and so forth. Not too long ago, there was a big scare about the carbon footprint and everything else. Again, we have the ability to communicate with the spirit of technology. A lot of human wisdom about technology literally comes from the other side. There are people who literally are taking drugs in Silicon Valley. And it's like the information of technology is downloaded into their consciousness. If you're familiar with the famous Nikola Tesla, he had tapped into the other side and literally receiving blueprints of technology in his sleep. And the world is still benefiting from his inventions to this day. He developed, there was direct current. He developed indirect current. So he was able to connect a lot of dots when it came to working with pulling energy out of the atmosphere. He understood the concept of ether and akasha. He understood that there was an unseen energy that you could tap into, that we all had access to. And he wanted to share this knowledge with the world. But he's not the only one. There are a lot of spiritual people who have talked about how they've literally have went to sleep and woke up with an invention. Because a lot of technology that comes to this planet has come from the other side, have come from another dimension, have come from the spirit world, believe it or not. See, we're funnels of knowledge. But Olodumare is all-knowing. We think we're advanced over here. A lot of your ideas come from the other side. And we manifest those ideas in the physical plane. Okay? Tapping into the energies of the heart. Call it the Ogun in the Yoruba language. One's heart, mind, and one's consciousness. Ogun. So remember, the universe itself, Olodumare itself, operates on universal laws and principles. Let's see. That's the sound of Ogun right now. He's always busy, always taking care of business. So just like there are forces on our planet that can maintain human law to keep civilization flourishing or running a certain way, Ogun is the enforcer of universal and natural law. So you hear the police and everything else, that's human law being reinforced or being enforced. But when you break a law in the universe, there are always something that you have to do to bring balance. So you got to pay when you break the natural law as well. When we break natural law or some spiritual law, Ogun works as the enforcer to get us back in line. And a lot of times we find ourselves getting into accidents. Now, this is an outgoing energy. A lot of times when you find yourself constantly getting into accidents like automobile wrecks or even dropping machinery and damaging machinery or damaging yourself, that's an Ogun situation. And if you're washing dishes, let's say you're washing dishes and you cut yourself with a knife and you start bleeding. That can indicate that there's a need to do some Ogun work. Obviously, Ogun is feeding on your blood. And there's an aspect in the universe in the form of Ogun that may need to be fed. So it might indicate that there's something going on with you. You may be breaking a law and not even realize it. So many a times when one is accident prone, that means that they're dealing with stuff around forgiveness issues, or they're holding on to anger. A lot of times they're having a hard time not only forgiving others, but forgiving themselves. And it manifests in the form of accidents, doing justice on themselves. A person who is angry all the time may also need to get their liver checked, because anger issues is connected to the liver. So it's suggested that a person start to take herbs like milk thistle and nettles and so forth. Start working with the liver. Eat bitters like dandelion. This will help bring balance to your energy of the liver and remove the anger that's built up in your liver, which can cause other problems in your body. If you hold on to anger, you'll also find yourself getting sick. Anger creates ulcers in the stomach. So there's a whole lot of things that people need to understand when it comes to bringing that balance in your body. You don't want to keep that energy hot. And I'll go and say that if it gets too hot, you need to also take a bath in cool water. Go wash your head in the river. You can feed Ogun by taking cola nuts, yams, palm oil to a railroad track. Okay. Something else you may want to do at times when you feel like you're having a psychic attack or all this negative energy is on you. One thing you can do, you could take 3 pieces of liver, breathe on it, clean yourself off, and drop the liver over there by the railroad track and just drop it there and leave it. By the way, ladies, if you want a warrior type of man, then talk to Ogun. Go to Ogun if you want a man. Okay? If you're looking for a warrior, looking for a good guy, go to Ogun. Ask for a man that does the work. Of course, you want to be careful what you ask for, so be specific. Ogun is definitely necessary when it's time to keep in mind are the things that we call war, issues of war, right? What's going on in Ukraine, the fear of China invading the U.S. or whatever, right? We're looking at all these things on the outside. What about the inside? That's right. It's good to clean out the colon. Keep that colon clean. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you let dirt, you let all kind of mucus, toxins build up in the colon, that affects you, keeps you weak, tired, fatigued all the time. Get all kind of diseases coming from out the colon. One of the reasons why people can't get nothing done, they're full of shit. Literally. Okay? Get that shit out your system. Literally. Sometimes it's good to take a colonoscopy or get a colon cleanse done. Drink more water. Right? Ogun's mother is Yemoja. Tap into the Yemoja principle. Drink more water. It's that war within. It's that inner battle. You see what I mean? That's right. Literally full of shit. So we got to get the shit out of our system because it takes place of us, well, living a shitty life. You know, you to be a master of self, not a perpetuator of shittiness. I'm just saying. But even Ogun himself, you know, takes time out. He's that warrior within us. So therefore, you have to fight that war within yourself. It's important to maintain inner peace. Ogun goes out into the forest whenever he feels that life among the people and civilization is getting out of order. Now remember, I think I mentioned forest bathing. When you go into a forest, there is negative ions. So it's good for you to go into the forest amongst the trees and take breaths, deep breaths, connect with the trees, talk to the trees, pour libation by the trees. Okay? And just meditate in the forest. Get connected to the woods. Get connected to nature. That's some of the best ways that you can connect with an Orisha. It's going straight to nature. Okay? So, there's times that he has to go and say, look, I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm about to leave. I'm about to go out in the forest. I'm about to just chill. Okay? Interesting enough, when Obatala leaves the room and Ogun comes, there's conflict. But when Ogun gets fed up, he decides that he's going to leave civilization. Civilization itself crumbles, and the only one who can bring him back is Oshun. You know, so she puts the sweetness to his lips. There's a story of how Ogun felt disrespected by the other Orishas and decided he was going to go into the woods and not even come out. No one was successful in bringing him back but Oshun. She brought him back, put the honey on his mouth and danced. She teased him and led him all the way back to civilizations where he was embraced with open arms. You see, Ogun is necessary. Now, the irony is the story is Oshun also had left when she felt disrespected as a woman, and everything fell apart when she left. So when Ogun felt that he was disrespected as well, he left, and civilization started crumbling. So Ogun is responsible for the building and technology that goes into civilization. And Oshun, she's responsible for the cultural expression and the beauty and the arts that bring meaning to civilization. Both are necessary, you see. So, these spiritual beings, these Orishas, they're real. These spiritual beings are real, okay? They're not just figments of your imagination. They're cosmic intelligences working through us and around us. I remember when I first got my warriors years ago. I'm talking about over 2 decades ago. And I forgot to feed my Ogun. I kind of was neglecting to give my Ogun palm oil. So I had a dream, right? I had a dream. In fact, I had a dream that I was in a balloon. I was taking off, and a black dog came to jump in the balloon. Now, you know the black dog is sacred to Ogun, right? I knocked the dog off so I can keep on going high in the balloon. So I don't know what happened. I just remember being in the balloon. It's like I'm watching myself from the outside. I'm watching myself in third person in the balloon, and the dog's running to grab the balloon and bring the balloon back down. In other words, because I wasn't handling business with Ogun, I was becoming ungrounded, floating away. And the dog, which was Ogun, tried to bring me back. I knocked the dog off the platform, right? Now, I find out in a dream that took place as a sequel that I didn't kill the dog, okay? So maybe about a few days later, I had a dream that I ended up getting apprehended by the police. The dog was sitting next to me. There was a canine. There was a black dog in a police car with me. And the dog's jaw was broken, like it was moving all crazy, like the predator's mandibles or some shit, right? And what it was is it was a sequel. That was the dog that I knocked off the platform. It came back to me in a dream, and it was Ogun telling me that he wanted this palm oil. And what it was is that while I'm in the police car, I'm watching these helicopters come, and they're picking up vats of oil. And it was dropping the oil, and the oil was splattering on the ground. This was Ogun telling me in a dream. Ogun was like, "You need to give me that palm oil, brother. You might have knocked me off the platform, but I'm sitting right next to you in a police car." And it was kind of terrifying to see the dog's jaw all crooked and broken up like that. And the dog was still barking like, I mean, I'm trying to mimic what it looked like. It's like, rah, rah, rah. I was like, damn, man, that's crazy. I got up, went and got me some palm oil. You see what I mean? Yeah, they communicate with you in dreams. They'll let you know, look, you're not giving me what I asked. And if you're not going to give me that palm oil, which is going to bring peace to me and put me at peace, then I'm going to make it so that your life is not going to be peaceful. I recall getting into a fight, not too long after that. You see what I mean? By the way, that's my past. It's not some stuff that's still going on. So, because people be like, well, I wouldn't have done all that. This was 20 years ago. Shit. But anyway, Ogun will communicate with you and let you know. Palm oil actually puts Ogun at peace, oiling his tools and everything else, so his tools work properly. Now, there's something that I want to talk about too. It's dealing with song with Ogun. But it goes like this. It goes, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. You see what that is, the Mariwo. The Mariwo is that aspect, that part of Ogun that's like the palm frond. You know what I'm saying? The palm frond is sacred to Ogun. So the song is Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. Ogun Mariwo. Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. It's kind of like palm fronds that spin, something like that. And then you say Ogun or the Mariwo. The Mariwo is the palm fronds. It's kind of like it goes around his waist, sort of like a skirt. It goes around his waist, and he dances in the palm fronds. But these palm fronds, which are called the Mariwo, you hang them around certain sacred objects, especially that is sacred to Ogun, and it brings protection. So let's say you want to put a protection around your house, and you find these palm fronds, and you can put them around your house. Yeah, like the picture. It's called the Mariwo. Okay? So see, Natalie, you probably was getting connected with Ogun there. He wanted you to connect with that, get those palm fronds. You could probably put them in certain rooms, certain spaces. If you're going to work with Ogun, go ahead and use that. Now you can get palm oil. You can take some palm oil. You can just pour like on a railroad track for Ogun, or a place where there's industry. That's where Ogun hangs out. Or you can go to a wooded area, a forest. Ogun also hangs out there, you see. But one of the things, and these are just things that you can do as a person that's, that hasn't been initiated and so forth, So yeah, Ogun is badass. Oh, he's your deity? Yeah, I love Ogun. He's a warrior. He'll motivate you, but he'll put you to the fire, and he'll hammer you and chisel you until you're that sharp sword that you're supposed to be. So I'm not going to give you the whole song. I'm going to give you a short song or part of a song, All right, cool. If you have any questions about Ogun or any Orishas, feel free to contact me. You're going to see my email. Now it says Khepra Ptah. That's my Kemetic name for right now. And then you see my phone number. And for those who are interested in getting a reading or a consultation, we can also arrange that as well. Let's say you want to find out who your Orisha is, or if you're interested in walking this path, feel free to let me know. Khepra.ptah@gmail.com. My phone number is 206-960-7999. So one chant that you can do for Ogun is what I mentioned earlier. Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo, Ogun Mariwo, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo, Ogun Mariwo, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. It's actually a call and response. And if you're by yourself, you can go ahead and sing it like that by yourself. You know, if you're trying to connect with Ogun or just acknowledge Ogun with his songs, right? You say, so let's say if it's a group singing, you know, you have a lead singer, say, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo, right? And then he says, Ogun Mariwo. Then everybody else says, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. Then the lead singer says, Ogun Mariwo, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. Ogun Mariwo, Mariwo, yeah, 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 Mariwo. All right, so go ahead and try that. And if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to contact me. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And I got to cut this short, family. But we're going to be coming out with more on the science of Orisha. It's great to be on the show. And for all those who checked out the show, thank you for your feedback. If you have any more feedback, feel free to leave a comment. Until next time, my sisters and brothers, peace and blessings. Odabo.